really bad pick too now.
The pick is bad?
Oh yeah, the stream is really bad.
Apparently, there's something that's telling me that there is a different resolution in the backup. Maybe
Even the lettering behind you is a little bit fuzzy, but around your chair and your shirt, there's all these fast-moving white spots around your chair too. It's like it's almost blinding.
Well,
Even your face looks kind of blurry a little.
I can see it in YouTube, but I don't see it over here. That's odd. At a loss to what to do because I'm, the only thing I can do is turn everything off and start over, but then I'm going to be late.
When you go into presentation mode, your picture gets way smaller. You'll probably be fine.
So that's funny that what I'm seeing is okay, but what you're seeing is terrible. I don't know. This all just gets to a point where it's like, dang, why is it so much different from one time to the next? Do you see anything different now?
It may be the tiniest bit less fuzzy, but it's still doing the same thing. Crappy,
and I have no idea what to do about it. It's one of those things where I have to keep digging to try to figure out what in the flock is happening.
Probably don't have time to fix it today. You're 5 minutes away from your goal line.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing. I can't see what you see right now. For me, I'm staring at myself on OBS and in Zoom. It's fine. So I have actually, before I was streaming with OBS and I turned it off and I'm turning it back on now. So I don't know. But it is recording, so I guess I'll just go, oh well. I'm concerned if everybody sees me in Zoom fine, that's okay, because I can use the recording from there as opposed to what I'm using for OBS and the other software. I don't know. It's confusing because I can set it up exactly the same every time. And see, I just got the error pop up again over in YouTube. There are different resolutions.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's Murphy's Law. When tech will fail you at the worst possible moment.
God dang it. What if I switch to, well, it's 720 over there.
Winter has officially arrived in my neighborhood. Oh, man.
You get snow?
Oh, big time. Cold, too.
We're in the high 30s in the mornings around here, but haven't seen any snow. They're talking about snow. I saw it in the previews for the upcoming week. I see that it's going to get down there, so they're going to start talking more snow here pretty soon. Or I should say they're going to be talking about snow more.
Blowing here, too, so that's even worse. It makes visibility terrible.
I just can't understand why. Well, if I switch to standard. Is it any better or worse?
A little bit. Again, like I say, it's not significantly different, but a tiny bit better.
Well, then I'm going to go back to 720.
You still have all those white spots dancing around your shoulders.
Yeah, see, I see that on coming out of StreamYard. So I'm wondering if it's StreamYard that has the problem, because Zoom doesn't and OBS doesn't. I don't get it. But it's close enough now. I don't have time to screw with it.
You know, you're seconds away from your goal line.
Yeah. Such is life. Well, before I start, can you see this?
That's why Cocktail Slappy so far. That's a funny looking cat.
Hold on.
Google won't be able to find you. That's cute. Did you find that or get it made?
I found it.
Oh, that's funny.
Trying to figure it because our camera is backwards for me, so I'm trying to go, what the funk?
Oh yeah, I can read it.
Even Google won't be able to find you.
That's cute. I didn't know if that's something you had made up, but somebody's actually selling it.
No, there's somebody's actually selling them. I got it off of Amazon,
Okay.
and it's funny because I looked at it and it was talking about Google. And I go, oh, well, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need to have.
That's right up there. Where's the best place to hide a dead body, right? Page 2 of Google.
Where do you hide them? Did you say something about Google?
Page 2 of Google.
I do remember somebody making that comment. Nice living room. Arthur's here. What do you know? Not like he's ever not shown up. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Arthur's going to yell because he's going to probably see the video problem too. He's having trouble connecting.
It says connecting to audience. I don't think he's fully connected.
No.
Oh, there it goes. Just connected.
Who was making that comment? I'm going to mute everybody. I got some feedback. Ooh, look at Arthur. He's just like professional. There. And let's set YouTube. Well, okay, so what happened to everybody? Almost 70 people were registered. Hi, all. How's the picture on your end, Arthur?
The picture, what? on
Me.
Zoom?
Me, yeah.
I'm sorry?
How do I look? Maury was saying that there's a problem.
I don't see a problem. You look all sparkly, but
Yeah, I saw that. That's just the shirt, and I don't mind that. But
but you're
2 minutes before, and we're struggling, going, I'm looking at all the settings, nothing seems to be working. But as it happens many times, just start the meeting, everything's fine. YouTube is over here throwing me an error, saying there's 2 different resolutions, but I'm not going to touch anything. So I got a couple more people. Oh, admit all. I guess I need to turn off that waiting room and let everybody get in here. Now they're coming in. I'm figuring there should be about 20 or 30 people. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Lots of new faces today. Everybody's coming. King of Reputation Management. I need that. I don't have one. Can you start from ground zero? I'm gonna give them another couple of minutes here. Any questions about past or where we're going today? Give me a hand or raise the reaction hand if you need to say anything. And we'll get started here in just a second. Kind of hoping that we get another few more people in here. Everybody is so serious at this point. I've yet to have a group of people come in here laughing. Not a fake laugh, Bonnie. That doesn't work.
Maybe I can get him to laugh. I'll show him my shirt, like I did Maury. There's the top part. Do you read it or no?
You bought it, huh?
I did. See, I got a few smiles off of that. I thought it was great. It was me. I saw that shirt and I go, I got to have that because I love my coffee. I don't want anybody to touch it. And then we were always talking about Google. So I thought, well, that's an appropriate shirt for me.
Good shirt. I like it.
Don't touch my coffee. All righty. That's long enough for the people who are dragging their feet to get in here. So hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday meeting. Everybody getting set, rubbing their hands going, what are we going to find out about today? Well, first you have to listen to me announce myself. I'm Thomas Garrison, and you're going to hear a lot from Arthur Moorhead, who is here today with us. He's usually here every day. And we've both been doing SEO and web development for many years. And sorry, I got a thing here saying that something is wrong. But there's an enable this Zoom. What do you know, Zoom? If it's working, don't fix it, right? So I've been doing web development and SEO for about 25 years. Arthur has been doing it for longer than Rover has been around. And if anybody needs us for either a consultation or to do some development for them, please get in touch. You can connect with us. We're all over the group all the time. I'm the administrator for the group, so you'll find me pretty easily. And today we're going to chat about local targeting searches or national searches. And that means, are you trying to get the traffic from local areas, which I think a lot of you are probably doing because you've got a local business, or are you trying to go national? So I'm going to start on the downside, kind of. If you're targeting national, that is, and the site's brand new, that's a tough road to hoe because you're just trying to get your feet wet with SEO. You're trying to get everything optimized well. And to expect that you're going to optimize it well enough to target national searches and to get into even the top 5 pages, that's a really, really tough order. One that I would say most people who are novice aren't going to attain, and even people who have been in the business for a lot of years, it's very difficult to attain. Now, marketing people do it a little differently. They don't necessarily, they do the basics of SEO, but then they go off-site and do a lot of other things. So there you have that option if you're trying to go national. Well, let's just say for the meeting's sake that you guys are basically going towards local. Now I'm going to stop for just a second. Do I have anybody here? Raise a hand who is trying to do a national target. In other words, you're trying to not use local. You're trying to just get the entire nation and to come to your site, and you're trying to push your site up into page 1 for national results. Anybody doing that? Okay, King of Reputation is doing that.
So you're going to ruin mine by telling you don't do that. Maxwell, I'm going to ask you to come online because I'd like to understand your reasoning.
Both.
Sorry, what was
and
that?
national.
You got cut off.
I'm doing both, local and national.
Okay. How are you addressing the local?
Explain the question.
It gets pretty difficult when you're trying to do that. Are you purposely targeting both? Or are you just going, I just threw it out there to the internet to see what happens?
I'm purposely targeting local, but for national, yeah, I'm just throwing it out there to see what happens.
Okay, so for local, how are you doing it? What's your method of targeting local searches?
Be on as many websites as I can with backlinks.
Not the route that I would recommend, but it's something that you can try, and so everybody
Find out
understands.
and find out what you say.
Well, yeah, and we're going to get into more stuff here in a minute, but I want to always say at the beginning of the meetings, SEO is an experiment. So everybody has that in writing. That's good to have, because there are certain things that I don't want to really call them steps, but there are things that you do with SEO that you need to have. There are basics of SEO that you need to have in your site. So if you're deciding, okay, I'm going to go more than just the basics, now is the time that it gets into something pretty deep. But there are really no steps. There's no specific reasoning or specific things to do. There's a lot of things that involves SEO. And so when you're saying, well, I'm going to get the basics down, then from that point, you're going to try other things. So once you get your title for the page, your description for the page, the H1 tag around whatever is the most important thing on the page, and you've got your content written so that it answers questions for the people who are coming to that page from the search results. In other words, what are they going to see on that page? Is it just, hi, this is me, this is what I do? Push that out the door. Forget that thought. What the people coming from, and you guys, you have to think about when you search something. You're on page one search results. You don't know any of the websites. And now you're going to say, well, okay, I'm going to try this one because they're on page one and see if that answers what I'm trying to do here. And when you get to the page, if it sounds like it's the person who wrote it is talking about themselves or talking about that particular business, that's really not why you got there. You went there to try to see if you could get whatever question or service that you want. You want to know, do they have what I need? So your website, the pages of your website need to say, I have what you need. That's why you're in page one. If you're just talking about yourself or you're talking about what you could do, maybe, you probably aren't going to get to that page one. So if you're looking to target local searches, which is what I highly recommend, because if you're just starting out with SEO, or you've been a little bit into SEO, you've done some dabbling in it, you've tried some things, go for the local searches first. It's much easier to get on a page one search engine position, SERP, for local searches than it is a national. A lot of times, and it depends on the search. Sometimes you have to be more specific. Sometimes you can get away with just some basic stuff, kind of like with SEO. But when you're targeting local, you need to decide how local are you? Is it just this city? Is it a county? Is it the state? So you have to consider how big an area around you are you trying to target. Once you've got that, then you start adding in the page that you want to target for that local search. And so everybody understands, do your SEO one page at a time. Whatever page you're working on, make sure it's got that basic with the title, description, the H1 tag, make sure that your content is written properly, but you're writing it for a specific area. So that's where the city or the county or the state comes in. That needs to appear on the page, depending on how much what your competition is like. You need to look and see, do I need to have this city or state or whatever local area, what my territory is on the page many times or just one or two times? And again, it has a lot to do with how the competition has done their homework. So you need to do yours when you're looking at page 1 or page 2. I highly recommend using ranks.nl. Now, we've talked about that many times, but I'm going to put it in here so everybody has that. And you'll be able to look at all the information on every page and see, you can compare what your competition is doing compared to what you're doing. So you'll see their keywords. You'll see what areas that they are targeting. Use it well and understand what your competition is doing so you can mimic that. You don't want to copy everything that they've done, but you do want to mimic that. How many times do they have the territory on that page? And they are already in page 1 search engine position, which is where you want to be. That's why you look at that page in ranks.nl, compare yours to that, and see how many times they've got the city or territory written in there. Trying to see if there's things in chat, ranks pages. And Michael is suggesting both national or local small business in construction to acquire specific talent to qualify for large infrastructure projects. It's true that you could do that, but the biggest thing that I'm always trying to get people to understand is make sure that, sorry, had some things I had to take care of on this side. Make sure that you are looking at local first. When you get into national, you're not saying any territory at all, which just means that your SEO has to be spot on in order to get to that page 1. That page has to be perfection. But you can get away with not having perfect when you're doing local. Any questions on this part so far? I don't want to get too far into it before answer some questions. How to find article writer in specific subject. Let me find out if we're on the same page. Mikkel, are you asking how would you find somebody to write your content? If you could come online.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not really what we're getting into today. What's your subject matter on your site?
It'd be electric cars.
Electric cars. How much do you know about them?
A little, not enough to write a lot of content though.
Okay. What's your intent for the site?
Just informational site.
Okay. I for what you're doing, I think that you'd be better off, because I hear several things going on. You stop me if you don't think that's what you want to do. Looking up information yourself on various subjects about cars, and you know, or the electronic cars or whatever that you're doing, you need to learn and you need to understand what it is that you've got so that you can write that content or you can see the content. But applying the SEO to a page that you don't really know that much about the subject is going to be extremely difficult. Targeting local or national is still about the same. National meaning that you're going to have a hard time, local meaning it's much more simple. And it's a good idea to start with local because you go, okay, I've done this. Oh, I see these results. Oh, okay, it's moving closer to page 1. Now you keep applying that same, whatever techniques that you've been doing, but that text on the page is so important. That's what your SEO is all about. If that text is not written well, then you're bucking a rock. It's like pushing a rock up a hill. So, Mikkel, what I'm suggesting is that you could hire somebody to write those pages, but you would be better off because you're also trying to apply the SEO. Generally, if you find somebody who's going to write, sure, they could write a fairly decent article, but that doesn't mean it's optimized for anything in particular. Does that make sense, Mikkel? Must have gone off. Okay, so switch over here to Linda, who's asking in chat. Let me back up to Sia. I see Sia, each page would have to mention the location. Yes. Sia, that's correct. So if you've got a page that you want to be in the local searches, just like you're saying Spokane, so you would want to mention Spokane and your H1 tag, which is going to be around the most important term on the page. If you really want to hit that well, you can put the city, in other words, your keyword term Spokane. Could be, don't try to put in prepositions or anything because that's going to mess up the search engine. When somebody searches for your business, your service, or whatever that you're selling, Spokane, that would be very similar to somebody typing in your business, your service, your whatever, near me. And because Google already knows, just like they found my person, they couldn't find my coffee person who slapped me, or I slapped. Boy, getting a tongue tied today. Stop it, Arthur. You want to make sure that you've got that word in your H1 tag as well. But if it just doesn't work in your H1 tag, definitely type Spokane throughout your copy. You can even say things like, we cover areas like blah, 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 and Spokane being one of those blah, blahs, in case you want to cover a larger area. So there are several ways to do it, but you do want to have your specific location mentioned in the page several times. Again, that goes back to keyword density. So whatever keyword that you're trying to add to your page, you want to make sure that that keyword term is not repeated too many times. And of course, the keyword density maximum is 3. And oddly enough, you'll find pages that are in, or websites that have a page in the search engine page 1 search results that are higher than 3 on a lot of their keyword terms. They're doing something different. Don't get into that habit. Make sure that you don't go over that 3.0 density. Keep it 2.9 maximum or something like that. So yes, you do want to have your location in the text and maybe even in the keyword tag in the H1 tag. And yes, Linda, you can put in states too. So if you're working, the same thing would hold. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a city, it's whatever territory that you picked. That territory needs to appear on the page several times so the search engines get that, okay, we understand this person is working in this area. Now, if all the other text and everything is working well, that page starts pushing up towards page 1 results. And in the blogs, web pages, yes, put it in every place. As your site begins to get better optimized so that Google sees it and puts it on page 2, maybe even page 3, you'll see that it's working its way up there. If you're on page 1 through 3, I would not recommend touching anything on the page unless you know that it's not. You can confirm that it's not going to harm your SEO that's already on the page. I generally wouldn't mess with it. See where they are, let it sit there for at least a month. It might actually push into a higher page. So it could be page 2. Maybe you'll get into page 1. But when you're in that top 3, that's the time to be careful about what you change or when you change it. So that answers your question, Linda, that yes, you can put in the states, whatever territory it is. Mikhail, I'll go back to you. In your chat, you were saying, what's the H1 tag? In your editor, as you're typing stuff on a page in your website, you have heading tags. And they begin at H1, H2, all the way down to H6. H1 is the most important heading tag that you can use, and you should only use it once on a page. So pick your keyword term, and that goes in the H1 tag. Just do that once on each page. The H2, the H3, you can use those as many times as you want. But all the H is a heading. It's a heading, so in your editor, instead of paragraph, you might choose, okay, I want this heading. And you select H1 or H2, depending on what you're doing. Can I have, and Linda's saying, can I have same page with different locations in H1 and in body copy? That's kind of confusing because on one page, you'll have one H1 tag. So you're not going to put in several locations in that H1. Put the locations, if you have several or you've got a territory that encompasses several, pepper it through your content. You can even make sure that you add it down at the bottom of the page. Just we do business in and list the areas. That also helps. So if you have it a couple of times in your content, then make sure that you put it in that footer. Footer is a great spot to identify the territory that you're working. And let's see. Anybody else asking here? Search box. Okay. No questions there. Any questions that anybody would like to come online? I've seen some in the chat. I've tried to answer those. I see Arthur's hard at work answering a lot of the people as well. Okay, no questions? You all might have noticed that I kind of rushed past the backlinks. That's not a great subject. Oh, Kevin, go ahead. Oops, I guess I got to unmute you first. Okay, let's start over, Kevin. Hi, Kevin, start over. You have to unmute yourself. Still not. What happened? There you go.
I'm on triple mute. I'm on com mute, Zoom mute, and laptop mute.
That's like me. I'm on YouTube and I'm over here and I'm all over the place with these videos going on. And one's saying, "Oh, something's wrong." The others are fine. I'm not touching anything.
Awesome. What about location pages for those folks who don't really know too much about location pages? Like, let's say I live in town A and I want to rank in town B and C, which is, in relative close proximity to me.
Put those cities, those states, or that territory, whatever territory you're targeting, add that to the page. Like I say, one of the best things is I've seen a lot of people who try to encompass a county, and there are quite a few cities in that county. So they're putting, okay, this city, that we do business in this city, this city, this city, this city, all these different cities in that county.
Sure.
You can make a list if it's 4 or 5. If it's a huge list, then I'd say, well, I don't know if I'd go with that far. But you may even go to county, because if you did county, that encompasses a lot more territory, so you don't have to name off all those. Let's say if you're in California, put in Alameda County.
Okay.
And that was short, but now you can put in 2 or 3 of the popular cities. The people who are in a smaller city than what you named in your page, they're probably going to type in something like blah, blah, near me. Well, that city is right next to one that I named in the page. So that is near them. You see how that works? So always
But
keep.
there's a couple ways that you can do it. One way that I found that has worked is you can take like create like a service locations page. And then what I have done is list the city and then link to like their visitor center or something like that in that particular city. So like, if you do work in Chicago, you list Chicago and then link to their visitor center or someplace where it gives details about the town or the city.
Okay.
And,
Like a municipal page or something like that.
There you go.
yeah, something.
Chamber of Commerce
that,
page.
Right, yeah, there you go. That's another good one. It's a good link, it's relative, and it's, basically showing. And the other thing you can do is you can do local map citations too. And that, basically what that is, it lists all the businesses around you. That's a little bit harder to, not for this discussion, but just take a map citation and find somebody on Fiverr to do that for you.
Perfect. All right. Works for me.
Okay.
You got a quiet group in here.
I am thinking the same thing. They're so intense. It's like I thought my shirt would get everybody laughing and say, okay, relax a little bit. Don't touch my coffee.
We're all busy making so much money.
Yeah, right?
Let me get back over to, and I don't mean to pick on you, but I'm interested in what you're learning so far, Maxwell. Is any of this information changing the way that you would, that you're thinking about doing things, or is it adding to it, or is it completely off book?
Unfortunately, my internet cut out. It just came back on, so I missed the whole conversation.
Oh, no.
So I just came in when you said to map citations is the first thing I heard. Everything before that?
Well, this is being recorded.
Yeah, it is. So
Yeah,
I was
because
trying to
missed
see
everything.
if it was help, but you'll have to hit the recording afterwards. And we'll go back and you can cover all that stuff.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Mikkel is asking me again about backlinks. I purposely try to steer clear of that because it's a hot topic. It's not one that we want to get into today, but suffice it to say that you have to be very careful who you're using or where you're trying to get backlinks, because if it's not done properly, you're ending up with a link farm, and all that's going to do is hurt you so much more than it's going to help. Google could see it and go, you did it all wrong, so we're going to remove you from the search engines completely. Does that make sense, Mikkel? Okay, so it's not that you can't do it, it's that it requires that you do some studying to understand that whoever you're considering having do the backlinks for you knows what they're doing. In general, so people understand a backlink, and this is kind of taking it to the extreme. Well, let's just say that you're a shoe store. You're a mom and pop shoe store in some little podunk town. And you want to get a proper backlink. Well, a proper backlink for you, because one of the brands that you sell of shoes is Nike. You want to try to get a link from Nike to your website. That's a backlink. It's a related company. It's a huge company. And if they gave you a backlink, that's going to make Google really look at your site. Now, what are the chances of you getting Nike to backlink to your site? You're all sitting there just kind of going, not going to happen. You're right. But that is a true backlink. That is the kind of backlink that Google's wanting to see on a website. And yet they know that it's not going to happen. So you got to be careful. You don't want to go the opposite end and just go with another mom and pop shoe store, because that's not going to help you. A website needs page authority, domain authority, traffic. They need a lot of stuff in order for Google to say that's a really good link coming into your site. So that's why we tend to, let's hold off on backlinks for right now. That's one of those things where get your other SEO, address the other SEO, leave backlinks for the end. Surprised I don't have any marketing people in the meeting today, because I would imagine that they would be arguing right now. They work if you know how to do them, but they will do just the opposite if you don't. So let's not do that. Okay. Is there anybody that has changed their mind based on what we've been discussing, whether they're going to do local or national? Any hands? Any thumbs? Anybody? How about anybody still confused? Oh, Linda, go right ahead. Except I got to unmute you. There you go.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
Thinking about chat, just putting in the chat a question here, because I am thinking now, because I am national, and a lot of my competition locally or internationally kind of doesn't do what I do. So I'm wondering, I like the idea of the footer, because I have put in my brand names in the footer as well, so I can add in at least the United States, maybe. In the United States, we also do the Caribbean and Europe and so forth. So I'm really a little confused here. But this is what I was thinking. I was thinking that I could probably look at Ranks NL and kind of take a look at my competition locally here in the Northeast. And take a look at how they're ranked.
Can I interrupt you?
It's
You got some feedback going on.
yeah.
Do you have a phone, or do you have two speakers going?
No, but I'll put my headset on. That might help.
Actually, you may have just been too close to the microphone.
Oh, okay.
She has two sources of microphone. That's why she's getting the feedback.
Try it now, or is it better? Can you hear me, Linda?
Just switched it. Yes, I think so. I just switched it to my headset.
Okay, that worked.
And the,
Yeah.
That's better.
I
that's
was
better. Okay, I'm sorry.
trying to figure out how to
Sorry about
interrupt
that.
without yelling. Arthur beat me to it.
It was screeching.
It was, and it's like, yeah, I know I need to say stop, but that's okay. Okay, so you're we'll back up just a little bit. I would bet that
Okay.
even though most of the people here are trying to do local stuff, there's probably still a lot of people in this meeting who are attempting and do work nationally. That's fine. But when you're trying to put your SEO into the page and you're trying to get traction from the search engines, the best thing to do is to target local, because it's easier. You can get into that page one faster. So you start getting some traffic from the local, assuming that you get onto page 1 or even to page 2, you make it to that point for the local search and you're starting to get traffic. That's what Google's really looking for. If you're pushing hard to do only national, you're not getting the traffic because you can't get it to page 2 or even to page 5. So you're still bucking trying to get traffic. You know, if you wanted to spend a bunch of money on an AdWords campaign, that's a different story. But advertising is part of offsite SEO. So never throw that idea out. It doesn't mean AdWords campaign. You can do traditional advertising. It could be magazines, articles someplace, blogs, newspaper, anything. That's all traditional advertising. So you're looking for the local searches, and in order to be able to get into the local searches and get a page 1 or page 2 position, get that traffic rolling. Once you've got traffic coming as a result of hitting some, 2 or 3 pages on a local, now you can start going, all right, I want to expand this. Don't touch those pages that are doing well in local. Now you start optimizing for national. Does that make sense, Linda?
Does. I guess I was a little, even if I start local, even as quasi, maybe pick a few pages. I want to see how I rank first with RightsNL. Maybe pick a couple of pages that I think might, do well in my local region.
Yes.
Local region, let's say, a couple of states.
Yes.
And then I can optimize those pages and add the states in there and maybe even reference, why, it works well in that state, blah, 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 or those states. And then I want to add in the footer, though, where we do our, where we service. And also I like the idea of a location. I'm not sure, are there specifically location pages? I don't think I have them on my website. I don't know, other than a contact page or whatever. So I'm not really sure.
Well, you can put it on your services page, serving,
Okay.
Servicing this town, this city,
Okay.
and then just add a link to, like Thomas was saying, to their chamber or something like that.
Okay. All right. So I think I have a direction now. I'll try a couple of my, pages that seem to, I do look at Google Analytics and things like that, so I know what traffic is being hit and I know what I'm driving through my marketing. But I will try a few of those pages to see if I can grab more searches locally by, definitely putting in those local regions or cities or states that are particular to, and test a couple pages. I think that's what I should probably do.
And that's a good approach. And for everybody, because SEO is an experiment, and because it's a process of time to be able to get everything on the page that needs to be there, and then more time for the search engines to actually position that page. Sometimes, like I've been saying, is that you have to wait a couple of months to see the page is moving, so don't touch it. You saw it moving well again. May not be on page 1 yet, but it's getting closer. So leave it. That's part of the experiment, is not touching it. If it's doing something, it's when it stops, when it's become stagnant. That's the point where you go, okay, it's here. I need to push it a little bit more. Let me check for the competition that's on page 1. And that's when you look at what they're doing and you see what you've done, and at some point you're going to have a light go on that says, oh, I see they did this. Let me try that. Try it. Just make that small change. And that may be enough to push you up into page 1. Once you've done these things for local searches and you've attained a page 1, even a page 2, the lights start going on in your mind and you start going, oh, that worked because I did this and this and this. Right. So now try to repeat that process on one other page. because you don't want to go through the whole process with every page doing, okay, so because I did that, then I'm going to make sure that I copy that through all the pages. Wait a minute, might be a little different for that page. What's the specific subject on that page? By using ranks.nl to compare your page to the competition who's on page 1, that's really important because you get to see this is how they did that. And you start following, say, okay, I'm going to try this, try that, and see what happens. And you'll see results faster when you're doing it with local search, when you're targeting local searches. And that doesn't mean that you will never show up in a national. It just means that you targeted local, and lo and behold, somebody could have found that in a national search, depending on how well and how long that page has been in there. So you're on the right road. I think you're what am I trying to say? Trying to refocus yourself so that you're looking here instead of this huge area. And that's what you need to do with SEO, is hone in on just a small thing. Don't try to encompass the entire internet. Doing that's just really frustrating because you've done all these things and you're going, I don't get it. I'm still 100 pages back. Don't do that to yourself. That's really frustrating. Try to just do a little bit. Say, oh, okay. Because when you're doing that, you start seeing small good things happen and you go, ooh, oh, do a little bit more. National it can be a difficult one, but you're on the right road then if you're going to that local.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And Mikkel, you had another question?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a local service, and my site, I update it with articles about a subject. Now, on each article, I have backlinks to like my social media presence, and then also, like that guy was saying, I also have links to the cities around my town. Is that too many backlinks on each article?
Well, first of all, the way that you described that, you don't have backlinks to your site, which that's what really a backlink is, meaning that you've got one coming back from another site.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I mean, I have links to my other sites, and then also to like the other towns, like the towns around me, like the city of such and such, the city of Broken Arrow, like I have their kind of, main site. Huh?
You're linking out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Will I get penalized for that, you think, or is that okay?
No, that's more along the lines of the people who are in your site. If you've got a bunch of links out, make sure that those links open a new tab, a new window, because if otherwise, every link that you put in your page that goes someplace else, that's an invitation to say, okay, go away. And that's the furthest thing from your mind. It's good for reference, but make that link open the new window. Do you know how to do that, Mikkel? I realize that you were looking for somebody to write the content, so you may not know these things.
Say that question again.
Yeah, do you know how to make a link open a new window?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So make sure you do it that way.
And they do. They open it to
Okay.
like I have a hyperlink. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to do that. Yeah.
Other than linking to, like we've been talking about, either the Chamber of Commerce of some place or something local, some sort of locale that has been around for a long time. Chamber of Commerce is one. Even the local city page would be another one. But even though that you've got those, what other things are you linking to?
Just my, like, because I have a Facebook for the business, I have a Twitter for the business, I have a TikTok. So just those kind of links, sometimes a YouTube video. I have all of the updates. So each article I kind of post at the bottom, hey, you can find us these places, and then under that, you know, I have these are all the services that these are all the towns we service, and on each of the town name, I have it hyperlinked to that town's website.
And you do that on how many pages?
I have about 20 to 30 articles on one site, and so each article, at the end of each article.
And other than the city pages, are you having links coming back from your Facebook and everything?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like on my social media presence. Yeah, I have links on those back to my website.
Arthur's probably going to say what I was, but go ahead.
What you want to do is you don't want to add those locations to every single page. What you want to do is you want to have a page that lists those as a resources page, and then link to your resources page. Your social media, if you're linking to your social media, I mean, that's generally a given, you know. But if you're mapping your locations on 20 pages, then that's not good. You don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really all you need to do is just list these areas that we service, and then put a link to the page where you have those areas listed. So that way it doesn't look like you're stuffing links. Because if you have 20 locations that you service and you have 20 pages, you know, that's 400 links that you have that Google is going to basically hit you with spam penalties.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's why I was.
Create a resource page.
Yes.
And list your resources page to list your resources and link out that way, and then link your page to the resources page or services for your service area.
Okay.
So
Okay,
this is specific to Mikkel, but it's for everybody. When we say have, you know, the city or whatever listed a few times in the page so the search engines understand that that's your territory, if you go overboard and do it 10, 15 times on one page, now you're in a position where it's kind of like yelling at the search engines. I'm doing all these. That's when the search engines go nuts and they go, you know what? Go away, quiet. Go sit down for a while. The way that they do that is shoving you back in the back of the search engines, like putting you in the back of the bus with the back door open. Go, oh, you're falling out, pal. So when you do anything in SEO, don't go overboard. Don't go a little is good, so a lot must be great, right? No, that's not true. In very few instances, that's true with anything, and especially with SEO, because if you do everything, if you've got a lot of links to something on one page, that's like you're doing too much. Just tell them exactly what you're doing.
It's old school link farming.
Yes.
So Maury made a good point. You know,
I saw that.
Social media,
Yeah.
you know, social media are no follow links, so there's no link juice. I mean, Google won't even follow them. You know, it'll hit them and just bounce off, and that's why I said, you know, you can have all your social media, you know, listed on the page, but it's not going to do you any good as far as this, you know. I mean, it's good to have them, you know, but to repeat them over and over and over on every single page, you know, then you may get hit with a spam penalty. But it's hard to say with social media. But they are no follow links, so they're really not doing you any good for SEO, but they will do you good for people who read your page and decide to go follow you on Facebook.
I don't see him here now. Did Mikhail leave or did he get kicked off? Well, I don't see him now. Mikhail, hello. Nope, he left. Maybe he lost connection. It's too bad because I was hoping that I was going to ask him if he's got the no follow link in there. Oh, you're here, but you're not in the list. That's odd. Oh, there he is. Okay. Mikhail, do you know how to make a link no follow from your site?
I don't know what that means.
Well,
Are you using WordPress?
yeah.
I am, yes.
When you create the link, you hit the details of the gear icon, and that'll pop up the settings. That'll pop up, and then under your link title and stuff, there'll be two boxes there that you can check. No follow. And when you check that no follow, what will happen is WordPress will automatically add the rel attributes to it, so you don't have to worry about that part. But whenever you create a link with WordPress, you highlight it, and then when the link pops up, you add your link to it, and then click on the settings, the little icon, and then that window, another window will pull up, and you'll see the no follow collection.
And what is this for? I'm confused. I'm sorry.
This is in WordPress.
So you're saying the hyperlinks I have, I need to undo them, or?
No, you can keep them. Just go in and set them so they're no follow for your
Oh.
social media.
Oh, so just don't make it a hyperlink, then, right? Is that what you're saying?
You can make it a hyperlink. I mean, you're still linking, but you're just adding the attribute of no follow. And
Okay.
that's in the WordPress. When you create the link, it's right there, right where you add the link, right next on the right. You'll see a setting. It says settings, and you click on that, and then another window will pop up, and you'll see the no follow.
Okay.
Links and hyperlinks are the exact same thing. Link is just an abbreviated terminology for it, but it's anytime that you have text that you can click on and go someplace, that is a hyperlink. And we also call that a link.
And it's always best to use the anchor text. You know, don't just say visit my Facebook page and add the whole link. What you do is you add the link to the word Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens with WordPress, if you have a really long link and you add it to your content, what happens is in mobile or either mobile or it goes outside the viewport and it extends past, and then you'll be able to slide your website back and forth. So it's always best to use anchor text instead of just posting the link.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now is a good time for questions from everybody. Questions about why maybe that you would do one, either local or national. Hopefully we have that, but if you have a question on that, now is the time to ask. No questions? Either it was too much for everybody or it was just right. Any questions at all? Happy. Rounding the corner. You got a question? Okay, let's
get you unmuted there. Okay. Hi, Happy.
Hi, Thomas. How are you? And hi,
Good.
Arthur. How are you guys doing?
Good.
So now that you've scared us so much, scared me so much about doing the national thing. So local thing is the way to go. I've understood that. Now maybe I should really be scared if I say it international, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't be scared. I mean, it's just a good place to start.
Yes.
To start with local SEO and then get into national. And some people don't even want to do local because they have an e-commerce site,
Mm-hmm.
and the e-commerce site, the local, unless you're doing blog posts and you're trying to write locally, then you would. But if you're not trying to write locally, then you would just do what you're normally doing. But it's always, to me, I've always found that if you establish yourself local with your business, then it grows. And it's easy.
That's the bottom line for everybody, is when you, especially with a new site, or if a site is like 300 pages back, you can consider it a new website because it's so far back, it needs a lot of work. So if you're an international business and you're just starting, there is nothing on the internet to stop somebody from another country coming to your page. But in order to get the word out, if you will, let people understand, let people know that you have this website. When you start locally, at least you're targeting someplace where you know you could get to a page one position to get some traffic. But that's not stopping anybody from internationally to come to your site. Does that make sense? It's not putting up a roadblock, it's paving the way for you to be able to get to that national search engine position. The key to everybody, whatever you're doing with your website, the main key is traffic. So how do you get traffic to your site that's new or been up for a while, could be up for a couple of years, and you just never have had any traffic, so you're still back 200 pages in the search engines? Consider it a new site. Start small and let it build out. But there is nothing stopping anybody from any part of the world coming to your website. Nothing. So don't feel like you're restricting yourself. All you're doing is doing a one step that's going to get a little bit of traffic starting to flow. Once that begins, it snowballs. And that's what you're trying to create. But you can't go to the top of the mountain and expect not having to use anything to get there. You just walk up in your tennis shoes. No, there's a way to get that done. So don't go up to the top of the mountain and try to think that I'm going to start the avalanche. It's not going to work. So just go small and say, I'm just targeting this area. And you can pick the area, especially if you're an international country or international business and website. So you're trying to think, where should I start? That's up to you. Pick a territory. Now, Happy, I know what your business is. So it would be, where do most of the people who have relatives or are doing what you've done in Zambia? Are they in Canada? Are they in a specific area of Canada? Are they in the United States? Pick an area that you feel pretty certain has a lot of these people who are looking for your services, and target that area. You got another question? Okay. You got to unmute yourself there.
I don't know if I understood this correctly. With Google, you said something about Google that, with Google, I mean, it's a love affair. Each
Love,
one is
hate.
dating each other, but you can overdo it with the words.
Yes,
And then Google gets upset.
yes. Yeah, just tell me,
So how much is too much?
that is, if you're talking about one page, what is it that you're wondering whether it's too much? Is it the number of times that you're saying the city? Think of it as you're talking to somebody. How many times would you mention that city or that territory in a conversation with that person?
Okay, gotcha.
So if you're saying Canada every 3 words, then Canada is over here. And then I really would like Canadian people to come. How many times are you going to say that before the person goes, why do you keep repeating Canada?
Okay, gotcha.
And that's what the
It's
search
just
engines do.
natural.
Yeah.
Content has to be natural, and, if it doesn't look natural, then Google's gonna know it,
Right.
and the way search is going these days, it's getting to the point where keyword density is not gonna be as important.
Mhm.
So, because everything is going direction where, I mean, I've heard rumors where Google is not even gonna be using keywords as a page ranking at all. It's all gonna be the quality of the content. Yeah, so if you're just writing content, just to write content, just blah, 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 it's not gonna do any good. The content has to be engaging, and it has to be informative, and it has to be accurate.
Answer questions that you think people are going to ask about your business.
Not too much talking about it. Okay, gotcha.
You can talk all you want. And in months ago, we had talked a lot about how many words should you have and that sort of thing. And we had some information, but we've confirmed over the time period that Google's not looking for any specific number of words on a page. They're looking to see if the conversational text that you put on your page answers the questions for the people who are coming for your product or service. So they want to see that conversational text. They want to see that you are providing the visitors what they want. And visitors do not want to know about you, unfortunately. So we don't get to talk about ourselves. It's what does the customer want? It's like if you're in a store. Go ahead.
People are coming to your website because they have a problem.
Yes.
And you need to be answering that problem. Find out what they're searching for. And then if you engage your content enough to have the solution to their problem, then Google's gonna reward you for that because it's informative, it's accurate, and it's exactly what people are looking for. Your website doesn't necessarily have to be me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what landing pages do. Landing pages create an answer to a problem. So and that's all a landing page is, about that answer, nothing else. You should have landing pages associated to the website.
So a landing page answers the question.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And you can think of your pages in your website. Any one of them can be a landing page, or all of them are technically.
That question. Okay. So I have to shoot.
Okay. Well,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. It is time to wind up. But anybody have any questions before we go? Okay, Maxwell, you did have a hand up. I didn't see it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you.
That's all right. So I had a couple of things I wanted to say was that, one landing page, answers the question, but it's a specific
Oh, yeah.
a particular question.
Yeah.
Richie, you know, I love the thing you said. You know, it's surprising what you don't know and what you do know.
Mhm.
You know, when you do enough studying, I guess you pick up things. But also, you said something about the making a resource page on your website, and I thought that was really brilliant. I picked that up some time ago, but I really did not, you know, correlate it to the SEO part. And then I think there was a thing I wanted to ask you guys about the SEO was I forgot what it was now.
Well, resources are important, just as well as a FAQ page.
Okay.
So those two pages will improve your page rank, you know, because it answers questions and your resources links to quality content that you're describing. So if you're writing a blog post and certain information in that blog post, you link to the resource page.
That was it. It was the blog that I wanted to talk about. So tell me if I'm right. This is what my advice to some people when I'm talking to them about them trying to rank and everything. I tell them to, you know, look at your blog as you are writing a book. And you're going to take not just a chapter of a book, you're going to take a small piece of a chapter and write about that. And that's your blog. So you get, you know, you break it up so that you have many things to write about. But you use that small chapter that you're writing about right now to answer the question about what, you know, whatever it is. And you make sure that that has all the that you need for that one blog post. Am I on the first half there?
Right. Yeah. One subject, you know, and then you refer to other subjects within that blog post.
You
know,
can
so
tell
you're,
them check tomorrow or the next time for the rest of it.
well, you can do that, but you want to link to other blog posts that are relative to the subject that you're writing about. You know, I mean, and your website, your blog should be topic specific. You know, I mean, you don't write about photography on one blog post and write about dog training on another blog post.
Yeah, that way.
That's no good. Yeah, it has to be subject specific. You know, so you know now if you're writing image resolution on a photography blog, okay, but in that image resolution you're talking about editing that image, so you link to another blog post that talks about editing. So that way you're creating an internal structure. That's
You can link to another blog post that you wrote
right
about
inside.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Inside
But you can also link out. So usually between 3 external links, linking out to resources, quality resources, are about the limit on a 750 to 1,000 word post. You know, you don't want to do any more than that. You know, now, if you have a 2,500 word post, then you can probably get away with maybe 4 or 5. But interior links should be more than the external links. You know, so you can write a blog post and you can reference 6 things within that post if it has, say, 1,500 words or 2,000 words. You know, and then those 6 links will link within your site, and then you have 3 external links that link out to your resources. And then those resources that you're linking out to, you repeat that resource within your resource page. So in other words, if you're using Wikipedia, for instance, and you refer to it 3 different articles or 3 different times, okay, in your resource page you put just the Wikipedia link itself, not for every single thing you link to, just the website, you know, or the page of where that information is. You know, but you just don't start linking every single link that you link to. You know, it's just a resource with all this, you know, this is where I got my information.
This is the reason why I stopped doing websites and just do landing pages, by the way.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just getting tougher. I mean, with the thing that's going on now, I mean, it's getting to a point, you know, that, pretty soon, keyword density is gonna be irrelevant. Now it's about quality.
Yeah. Well, that's, like I said, that's why I do landing pages and sales pages. One page, that's it.
Yeah.
What's
It's
interesting,
still like, it's still with the SEO with that too. You still gotta be on point with that too.
what
Sure.
what's interesting for the last 20 years is that content has always been the same mandates as far as making it conversational, making it so that is what the people see when they get there and that's what they want. But without Google coming up with these rules and mandates, everybody was just kind of going, well, I'm just going to stuff it. And Google keeps coming up with these different mandates that have forced people to stop stuffing, stop trying to push what they want and give the visitor what they want. So if you go back 20 years and how do you write content? Same way you used to 20 years ago. Except that if you're one of those people who was stuffing it back then and you're still trying to do it now, you're still not writing it correctly. And that's where it's Google is what Arthur is saying is that Google's saying, fine, you want keywords in there? Go ahead and put them in because we're not going to pay any attention. Write that content the way that the visitor needs to see it. Then we'll consider your page.
It hasn't hit yet, but it's, you know, it's, there's a lot of talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Arthur, you mentioned this before, and I'm just curious as to how you would look to do this. So I do landing pages or one-page sales page. You said that should still be linked to your website. How, in particular, would you do that? Are you thinking that would be best?
The link, the landing page to your
Either.
website?
Yes, yes.
Well, it depends on what the landing page is. They'll give me an example of a topic that you build a landing page for.
Okay. I just did one for a nursing home. A girl that has a nursing home or in-home nursing. That's it.
Okay, well then write an article on their website about in-home nursing, and then link to that landing page.
Okay, and vice versa would be to put the link for the website in some of the in the script of the landing page.
Well, the landing page is only specific for one thing.
Right.
You know, linking out from the landing page is not a landing page. Landing page is to do either to fill out a form, make a sale, or to have an action.
Yeah.
You know, so linking out to the page is not necessary. You don't want to, you know, if you list 3 different resources on your landing page and you're linking out of that landing page, you're defeating the purpose of the landing page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you have them people on that page to do one thing and one thing only.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what I was trying to tell this lady.
Yeah.
You've captured their attention and now you want to keep them there until they do what you told them to do.
That's why there's no header and no footer on a landing page. Why would you put a menu on top of the landing page? It defeats the whole purpose because you know, you're letting people get away from it. You know?
Right.
Okay.
Like I said, good to hear that you're on the right track.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Doing
that's-
it for a lot of years, man.
That's all the time we have for today. I thank you guys for showing up. Looks like a lot of people had to take off, but we'll see you next week. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thanks, Perry. Thanks, Don. Bye, Andre, Larry. I was just going to try to pronounce that name, but he left. Whew. Looks like Larry is
Works pretty
still,
well.
Larry is trying to figure out. And Andre, bye Larry. Maybe they already left. They left and they don't know. Put him over there. I almost put Maury over there. Hide him in the waiting room. There they go. What do you have, a GIF running up there? What do you have running?
It's OBS. It's image slideshow.
Oh.
I'm gonna do a scroll next.
Well, speaking of Mr. OBS technician, tell me why through the meeting I've had a yellow bar in YouTube saying error in the current configuration of videos. Primary and backup streams have different resolutions. You need to configure the streams to have the same. I haven't touched anything. Period. I started them today, and that was it. Now, when Maury first came on, he was saying my picture was terrible. By the time that you got on, you go, I don't see any problem with it. And I couldn't see any problem with it.
You're using virtual camera for StreamYard? And you're going through
Yeah.
StreamYard to YouTube, right?
Right.
I should be getting that error. It doesn't make
Now-
sense.
Normally, I don't stream through OBS. Like right now, I can stop the stream. And of course, then the recording stops at the same time, and that's fine. I don't care about that. But I've still got the virtual camera. But I haven't changed any settings on anything.
I'm running OBS, and I've got it set to virtual camera.
Yeah,
And
I have the virtual camera on.
I don't know why YouTube would be giving you that error, and without looking at it, I mean, with me, I have to see the error to fully understand what it's saying. I'm a visual error.
So Arthur looks clean to me, but Thomas, you're still really choppy around the edges, just like it was in the beginning.
That's because I got me a quality green screen behind me, bro.
But your edges are quite smooth compared to Thomas's.
Yeah, this thing I bought is top notch. It's got a, it's a fabric specifically made for content creators for streaming.
So it's
And
not just regular green felt, it's felt.
Can you see the
No.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, it says error in current configuration. Primaries, the video's primary and backup streams have different resolution.
And yet during the meeting, just like right now, it went away. Excellent condition. I haven't done anything.
The resolution setting is different somehow in your,
But you watch that error is going to come back here in a couple of minutes.
yeah, well, you got a resolution issue. You got either in your OBS settings, you either got your output video at one resolution and your other one at a different resolution.
Technically, I can understand how you would say that. But what I'm trying to get across is I have not touched the settings for 2 months.
Or it could be something that is there that you don't. That you
I'm-
didn't set.
Guessing that it has to do something with what's going on the internet, because right now it's extremely healthy. So I'm going, well, okay.
I don't think it would be. I think it's OBS. Your video settings, your output's not the same as what you have on your camera or however you have your camera set. And that's what that says. You got two different resolutions. Fine. What's going on? And the only place that can be is in OBS.
I don't disagree. I'm just trying to figure out why it's decided that today it's a different setting. The video, the streaming video bit rate is 4020.
Not bit rate, it's your resolution.
(1920 by 1040). Output is 1920 by 1040.
Well, YouTube does not accept that bigger resolution.
That's what it's been forever. I can't even change that. I guess I'm gonna have to stop.
If I remember right.
What's that?
If I remember right, you can't stream that, or you can't be using 4K, are you?
No, it's 1920 by 1040, aspect ratio 2413.
Yeah,
That's what OBS says.
Doesn't matter. That should be all right. Well, sure, man. Take and Google it. Then add. Well, just Google that. See what you come up with. Pretty sure it's an OBS setting.
Let's see if I go here.
Sharing your YouTube screen.
Nineteen 20 by 1080 is what YouTube says.
80 by 720. So there's you have a setting where YouTube is picking up two different settings.
I'm wondering if it's StreamYard.
Check your out. It could be, but I doubt it because there is no. Check your camera setting.
In
High definition 720.
Yeah, on StreamYard it's 720 and I can't go to 1080.
Really?
Now-
it says full high definition 1080.
Yeah, but I'm
Line. What you have to do.
it's grayed out. Are you looking at my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's grayed out. I can't touch that.
Yeah, you can't because you're live.
Right.
Once you stop streaming, then you'll be able to change it.